Before there was a show, he was so slow. It's growing up.
Attention college students. Are you having trouble punching up that term paper?
Yeah, my professor is killing me.
Need to doctor your dissertation?
Oh man, would I ever?
Impress your professors with a flurry of words from the new Vossopedia Online.
Awesome!
Simply type in your question, and Vossopedia spits out the appropriate terminology.
What's the capital of Georgia?
Alana.
Wow, it's so easy. Man, I can't remember the name of the U.S. prison in Cuba.
Guantanamo Bay.
Oh, that's right.
Vossopedia Online is the most useful research tool since the paperweight.
What's the name of that mountain with the president's faces?
Mountain in Rushmore.
Oh, man, I'm a fucking idiot, of course.
What festivity is celebrated with booze and muggings in New Orleans?
Mardi Gras.
Here comes another
Stutter,
ad.
stammer, and slobber your way through college with helpful hints from Vossopedia Online.
What does IQ stand for?
Intellectual quiz.
Man, this is a lifesaver. Thanks, Vossopedia.
Sirius 206, XM 103. The guys are back.
One of my favorite people as far as doing radio with, because I don't know, we still haven't hung out socially there, Penn.
We haven't. I don't know why that's never happened. I should.
I kind of would like to do that one of these days.
We'll make that happen. I'm coming in to do. I guess I can't talk about it yet, but I'm doing an arc on a television show that shoots in New York City. So I'll be coming in more often.
You're doing The Apprentice again? I read your book.
I don't get enough of losing. I live to lose. I'm just here to lose.
They still got your ice cream in the stores.
They do. You know, that was the odd thing. You know, Walgreens, how do we say, kind of, sort of, ish, wanted me to win that. And it's kind of an understatement.
And you don't get a taste of that?
I do get a taste of that. They put it out. And the thing that'll make you happiest is now when you buy the carton, it does not mention Celebrity Apprentice anywhere.
So how'd you get that away from Donald Trump?
Because I didn't win. So it ends up actually being a better deal for Walgreens than for me.
It's always better if you don't win the show.
Always better. Always better to
Think
not
about
win.
all the people that have won these reality shows over the years.
You always want
the second guy always does better.
Now with the Olympics, the second guy has the most depression. But on reality shows, you know, there's all sorts of studies that coming in second in the Olympics is like the worst position to be in.
Worse than third.
Well, much worse. Much worse. Third, you're happy to be on the stand. You know? Fourth, you gave it a good try. First, you're the fucking shit. But man, second, you're just a dick.
Second means you lost by 1/100th of a second.
It means that everybody's thinking, you just tried a little harder, man.
And the silver just doesn't look as good as the gold.
He just didn't, you know, he went out there and gave it almost his all.
Yeah, you know, like if you're in third, you're like, well, there's two guys I had to jump over. But if you're second, it's just that one man.
No, but if you're third, you're lucky to get there. All your friends are going, man, you look great there. You were standing up there. You look so cool. It was great. They're all over you. They're all sucking your dicks. And when you're first, it's like, wow. And then second place, it's like, man.
Second place, you're just depressed.
Opie, the last 10 yards of that run, why didn't you? Well, you saw he was a little ahead of you. Why don't you just lean into it, man?
A little extra.
What were you doing?
I guess you don't have
it. Holding it back? What were you doing?
I guess Opie doesn't have it.
But on a reality show, turns out it's not that bad.
Hey, are they the same height when they win? Like when you win the first, second, and third in the Olympics, you have the one guy in second and third the same height?
Same height.
That's why.
Second and third. I think there was a time it wasn't the same height, by the way. I would have to look back.
You're an Olympic historian, aren't you?
I like the Olympics.
I've written 2 books on them, and I've always avoided the podium talk at the end or whatever they stand on, so I have no idea.
And then I immediately hate all those sports after the Olympics are over.
Yeah.
You got to.
I've never really watched the Olympics.
They never stop losing. They're still losing somewhere. They
still curl.
They do all that. They're doing it somewhere right now.
Isn't that only for the Olympics, though? Like, you can't enjoy that.
I have a friend who does curling.
Curling.
And curling is one of those drinking sports.
Yeah.
You know, you go every Sunday with your friends.
Like bowling.
Yeah. And
but no one is, like, using actual skills. They're just throwing the stone, is it called, right? The stone is as hard as they can down the ice, and just hoping for the best at the end.
I think now's the time to make your move, Opie. I think you need to do another show on Sirius called Three Guys Who Knew Nothing About Curling, talking about curling.
I love watching it, though.
And the broom and shit. You know?
Just so it can move, a millimeter or something? Ridiculous.
See? But that's the problem. That's why you came in second at the Olympics. Just so a millimeter is... Well, he happened to win by a millimeter.
That's right.
But why do you...
See? He deserves second.
Absolutely second, third in my book.
But I can't let you off the hook yet. Why are you allowing Donald Trump to pull you in again?
I was joking. I'm not really doing it.
No, you are.
No, I'm not.
You sure?
I'm positive, No.
He's kidding.
So you're doing another show with an arc?
This is a show that is a scripted television show. I will tell you the second the mics go off, but I believe contractually I can't mention it to my first appearance. So.
I missed the kidding part.
He didn't say it, but I kind of assumed it because he...
Did you?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, I'm stupid. I'm not gonna fake it. I really believe Donald Trump pulled you in again.
No.
I was going to have an intervention for you.
He could,
right?
I mean, doing prime time. You know what? I was just telling you out in the hall. What I do for a living is sell tickets to my show. Mm-hmm. And we had, and forgive me, I mean, this is an embarrassing thing to say, but I believed that people that did not come to our show in Vegas were not coming to our show because they did not want to see it.
Right.
Not because they hadn't heard of us. We did Celebrity Apprentice, and I would have people, because we meet everybody after the show, I would have people coming to me and going, never heard of you guys till I saw Celebrity Apprentice. Didn't know you did magic.
It's impossible. You've been around since I was in high school.
Yes, we've been around 40 years. We've been doing this longer than you've been alive. We've been going forever.
But how is it possible there are people still out there that don't know who Penn and Teller are?
And we were having people after Celebrity Apprentice.
Right.
I would walk through. We play like the other casinos besides Vegas. Like on the road, and so you have to walk through the casino to get your hotel room. I'd be walking back through, and guys would say, and these are guys 35, 40 years old, would go, hey, Penn, I have no idea what you do, but I'm coming to your show tonight.
Come on.
Yeah, and saying after the show, whoa, you do magic. That's great. Okay. So, yes, Celebrity Apprentice opened up a whole new audience who seemed to like us.
So you could walk around Vegas and people before Celebrity Apprentice didn't know who you were at times?
I guess so. You can, you can't tell who's recognizing you and who's being polite and who, how they exactly do that. I mean, I know I get recognized much less with my children than I do when I'm alone, for instance.
Now, I want to go see your show so badly, but, I don't know if I'm going to be in Vegas anytime soon. Are you guys going to can you hit the road with this at all and maybe go to New York or something? And do you have plans for that?
We have plans. Actually, we're making plans this afternoon to maybe come and do another Broadway run in 15,
really,
which is certainly not allowed to be announced, and I just have. But we can't do some tricks in New York City.
Why?
We can't do the bullet catch. We can't do the finale because we tried everything. We tried the straightforward route and the bribe route to get. We used real guns and real ammo,
right?
And getting that into New York on a stage show is
impossible.
We found it impossible.
But the bullet doesn't really,
The bullet does not really kill us, Opie. You're on board with it.
You're good. He's good.
But
the bullet's not really flying.
It is.
Come on, stop.
It is a trick.
Yeah.
Okay.
So can't you sit
real bullets, real guns, but no bullet flying?
Is it the idea of the live ammo, regardless of what happens, is just the idea of having the live ammo that they won't allow? So no matter how you do the trick, it doesn't matter.
They said to us, which was just show us that the guns are not operational and not real, and we'll let you do it. We said, well, but they are operational and real. And they have to be, because you have the audience members examine them, and we have military people examine them.
It's an amazing trick, but illusion. Sorry.
Trick is the better word.
Yeah. See, some of you guys get mad when we say trick.
You guys, don't put me in that category, you guys.
You're right.
No, illusion.
Some of your, whatever.
Contemporaries.
Illusion is a term of art.
Right.
That really means something that is a visual optical illusion, like a mirror thing or something. Mm-hmm. It does not cover most of what we do. If you broke down our show carefully, we do one trick, maybe two that are you could call illusions, and the rest are tricks, and we're proud of that. Swindles, rip-offs, lies. That's what we do.
Yes. So answer what you feel like answering, but do you actually need the bullet in the gun to do that?
We do it the way we're doing it.
Oh, yeah, because right.
Because the audience members are handling it.
Yeah, I got you.
But I will also add, and this is something I feel very strongly about, I will not say to anybody that we're doing anything dangerous. We are not. We have so many levels of checks that we would not do it. I have 2 children and a wife, and I also love my life. I'm not gonna. I think it's morally wrong to do things that are dangerous on stage. It insults the audience, first of all, and it makes them complicit in something that is immoral.
Do you remember?
So we do stuff that's safe.
Do you remember the old school guy that did that?
There were a bunch of them.
Wasn't there a guy that actually did allow the gun to be fired?
No, yes. There have been 12 magicians and 2 carnies who have died.
Oh, wow.
Died on stage doing the bullet catch. And that's why...
How did they used to do the bullet catch?
There's a lot of methods. There's one method that,
the old school way.
There's a lot of old school ways.
Okay, go ahead.
But I'll tell you one of the old school ways that's so heartbreaking, okay? One of the problems is you can't use an automatic weapon because it's not a trick because you can't see it. So we use a revolver. But a lot of guys would use a muzzle loader. Back when it was done, it is an American trick, the bullet catch, and was also first done catching in a hand by Native American magicians, which you didn't even know there were Native American magicians.
No idea.
But there were.
Okay.
It used to be built into that form of entertainment. There's one guy, I've forgotten his name, and he had a method for doing it where he would use a muzzle loader, right? So he'd pour in the powder with an audience member, and then he would take the ball that was signed. It was going to be the projectile, and he would put it into the barrel. And then this really kind of cool thing, he would tamp it. Instead of using a tamper, he would use his wand, right? Which is a pretty cool thing to do. Take out his magic wand, he would tamp it down. Now, the way he was doing it, really ballsy method that I bet was really a fooler, is he would have a little piece of magician's wax, which is wax, on the end of his wand. And he would tamp it with one end of the wand a couple times. Then he would kind of turn it around in a subtle way that you wouldn't notice. He would then tamp down. The ball would stick onto the wax. He would pull it out, flip it again, so he's holding the ball right in his little finger, but still holding the wand, and then tamp a few more times. When he tamped the next couple of times, he would come out and make it very clear there was nothing on the wand. So that's really, really deceptive. That's a good trick. And also really safe, because you've got the ball in your finger.
Right.
You're feeling it in your finger. You cannot get shot.
Oh, boy, so how did this go wrong?
Safe. Oh, this is what's heartbreaking. The ivory tip of his wand came off when he tamped it the last time. Now he's feeling the ball in his finger, and he's holding the wand up. He's not looking at the wand. He knows there's nothing to see there, and the ivory tip is gone. He goes on, hands the gun to the audience member, goes over, stands, loads his bullet, from his little finger. He's all set to do the punchline, and the guy shoots him in the head with the tip of his wand. He's killed with the tip of his wand.
Oh, wow. I see. Okay, so the wand fell in.
It fires the tip of the ivory wand into his face.
Come on.
Yeah.
Wow.
And Chung Ling Soo on stage, I think it was the London Palladium in the 1920s, Chung Ling Soo had a trick gun. So, there's in magic, there's the effect and the method. And the effect is what it looks like, and the method is how you do it.
Right.
And there are a lot of effects that are done by many different methods. So the effect that we do with the bullet catch is the bullet catch, but the method we do is strictly Penn and Teller that very, very few people know. So Chung Ling Soo, who besides the name Chung Ling Soo was actually a Scottish magician because it was very popular at that time to have an Asian theme. His name was David Bamberger, and he put on yellow makeup. He was from
Oh wow!
And he spoke in fake Chinese all the time, but he was actually a Scottish magician, Chung Ling Soo, and he had a double-barreled gun the audience wasn't aware of, and he loaded his the bullet at the bottom chamber, and one night a piece of his gun broke off, and the powder seeped into the other end, and he was shot in the face and killed. And what I think is so interesting about this, and I've never found an answer to this, but he's on stage at, I think it was the London Palladium, might have been another theater. So you're talking about 1,600 seats. So the police officer comes in, and he says to the guy on stage, it's an audience member, so let me get this straight. You signed the bullet, you loaded the gun, guy went across the stage, you pointed in his face, pulled the trigger, 1,600 people saw you, the guy's dead, is that right? Yes, officer. Okay, you can go. But if we have any other questions, I mean, what is the legal ramifications of that?
Yeah.
You shot the guy in the face.
Right.
I mean, you didn't mean to, but you did load the gun and sign it.
Right.
You know. So, and then when he died, Chung Ling Soo, Houdini, who was very, let's say, savvy about the press. The second Chung Ling Soo died, dancing on his barely warm grave, which is proper to talk about in this room, I think. Yep. When Chung Ling Soo had just died, Harry Houdini announced that Harry Houdini, would do the bullet catch in honor of Chung Ling Soo.
Oh, cool.
Which he had never done. He would do it at a charity thing. And then there was a letter written by the then president of the Society of American Magicians. Incidentally, David Copperfield has this letter. It's really cool. And it's the letter from the Society of American Magicians to Houdini that says, "Dear Harry, the bullet catch is just too damn hard. It's too damn dangerous. We've lost 3 magicians in this century." This is like, 1918. We've lost 3 magicians in this century already. You're the most important magician in the world. We can't afford to lose you. Please, Harry, do not do the bullet catch. Sincerely, the Society of American Magicians. And Houdini backed down. It's the only trick he ever announced that he didn't do. He was afraid to do it and backed down. Wow. So when we announced we're going to do the bullet catch, and I also will say in full disclosure, we set this up because we thought it was funny. But the president of the Society of American Magicians wrote us a letter that said, "Dear Penn and Teller, you've announced you're going to do the bullet catch. Where you are in the Society of American Magicians and how much we love you and care about you, we would like to say, go for it." So we got that letter, which also went to Copperfield to put next to that in his collection.
Do you own anything by Houdini? Copperfield collects the most amazing stuff.
Copperfield, if you ever get a chance, if David ever invites you to go through his warehouse.
We had him on the show recently. He's strange.
Yeah.
We liked him a lot, though.
But he's
a bit strange.
He's very, very eccentric.
Yeah.
And a wonderful, wonderful guy.
He seems like he's got a good heart.
And the thing that you're going to love about it is when you were, whatever you were, 12, 13 years old, and you would sit around with your friends and say, if I ever get a lot of money, I'm going to, and whatever you filled in there, David did.
That's what he did.
And he's the only one. He bought a fucking island. He owns Citizen Kane and Raiders of the Lost Ark and all these props from that. He loves magic, and you go through there, and it's just amazing stuff, and it's perfectly curated. I mean, that's the thing. You go through here, some guys collect stuff, and you go to their house, it's just like a pile of shit. He has like 4 guys working, and it's just perfect the way you want to see it.
And it's not open to the public, right?
It is not open to the public, but so it's just
that's what makes him so strange.
Invite only.
He's pretty liberal, but this is the thing. I don't want to come off as some sort of elitist bastard.
Right.
But if you open that to the public, it couldn't be like that.
Gotcha.
It could be something wonderful, and maybe he should do it, but it wouldn't be something that I would talk about the rest of my life. The fact that you get to the Houdini stuff is not behind glass and away from you. Have you ever touched the Houdini straitjacket? Have you ever put the handcuffs on? Well, David can go ahead.
How cool would that be, Jimmy?
And for those of you, I mean, the thing that I went crazy over, which you guys go crazy over too, he has the original George.
Oh, yeah. That's no footage,
Otto and George.
That's how we finally got him on the show.
Yes.
He was so depressed about Otto's passing. He called and talked about Otto, and we saw the video of him showing Otto that he has George. It was.
Well, I said to David, and I was not kidding.
Yeah.
I was not kidding at all. And I cannot convince David that I'm serious. I said, David, nobody loved Otto more than you. No one knows his material more than you. You are a trained ventriloquist. David started out as a ventriloquist. I said, please do, just for the friends and people who loved him, do a one-man tribute to Otto and George. Pull out the George puppet and do one of the acts. Do a 20-minute set. I said, you can do the ventriloquism. You know all the jokes. And David just laughed and said, oh, yeah, that would be great. And I go, yes, it would be great. And you should do it.
Yeah.
Really, really do it. Just on stage in the theater, and just invite, don't make it a press thing. Don't even let people record it. But just for the people that loved Otto and that you also know, 100 people, whatever, special. I mean, you guys would fly to Vegas for that.
Oh, God, in a second.
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
And get that all, and he is.
Where's he at with it?
I can't get him
to do it.
I can't get him to. No, I can't get him to understand that I'm not kidding.
Right.
He just goes, yeah, it's like you with Celebrity Apprentice. He goes,
right.
He goes, yeah, right. He goes, yeah. That would be great, man. Wouldn't that be great? And I go, no, it would be great, David. Do it.
Yeah.
And I said, whatever you need me to do, I will set up the venue. I will get the people there. I will pay for the food afterwards. Whatever you need done, I'll do it. You don't need to memorize it, David. You already know it. You don't need to learn ventriloquism. You can already do it. You've got the fucking dummy.
Let's call him. We'll call him tomorrow or something and say, hey, man,
push it.
We had Penn on, and where are you at with this?
What was the coolest? Sorry, what was the coolest thing he had that you liked?
Well, I
the
loved
Houdini straitjacket, I would imagine.
Well, all that stuff is great, but I loved. There was a guy that did an act that I can't imagine what the act was like, but there was a guy who came out, and his entire act was people in the audience would name a piece of paper, and he would pull it out of his pocket. So you would say, orchestra tickets to whatever show was playing in town. Reach in his pocket, pull them out, show them to the front row. Dry cleaning for a suit from this particular dry cleaner. Reach into his pocket and pull that out. Copy of a will. Pull that out. He had all this shit with him. And he had a jacket. And the way he did the act, and this is what kills me, the way he did the act was he didn't seem to have a system. If someone busted him, if someone mentioned something in the act that he didn't have, he'd go out and get it the next day and put it wherever he could in the jacket, and just remember that.
Well, okay, he had to have plans.
No. He was doing stuff. You alibi it, of course, when someone says tickets to a certain show.
Right.
You say, I got tickets to the show next door or something like that.
Right.
But, I mean, if you think about doing that act, you have tickets to every show that's playing, every concert that's coming up. Well, no, this guy toured. This guy was a vaudeville performer who did that. And David has the jacket.
So he would study the patterns of the audience.
Yeah.
And just
and he'd come back every 2 years. Well, think of all the places you play. You know the places you play. You know the name of the clubs and stuff like that. And you would know what your audience would ask for if you said, name a piece of paper.
But if the audience knew the guy, they would make sure they thought of something ridiculously obscure. So how does he get around that?
Except it's not all fans. You got people that are seeing it for the first time. And
no plants for real?
I don't think there were plants. It's too expensive to do. You can't afford plants.
Right.
That's the thing on a TV show, everybody are plants, or as they call them, friendlies.
Right.
Everybody there.
Friendly.
And as I've said before, you can make instant plants like this. I mean, it's amazing in the age of reality TV. We did this on our show Off the Deep End. We took people just random on the street. And I just said to them, I'm going to pretend to do a trick that I want you to scream and applaud, and then afterwards you're going to ask how it was and then say it was great. And every single person did it.
Sure.
There wasn't one person we found that went, you want me to say you were floating in the air when you weren't? Mm-hmm. Not one person even said that.
Right.
Even asked once. They just went and did it. They were saying stuff like, swear to God, I've never seen anything like that in my life. And we had done nothing. So that's really easy. But in a live show, you got to just do the arithmetic. If you've got an audience of 500 people, how many plants can you really have in there? How many people are you going to put on the payroll? And also, being a plant is really, really hard. My trick for spotting plants is watch how they go up the stairs. If you're at a magic show and they call a person in the audience, don't look at who they're with. Don't look at any of that. They've covered that. Look at how they go up the stairs. At the Penn and Teller show, you call somebody and say, you, sir, you want to go up on stage, check the guns. The guy will come to the stairs and he will go up them two at a time. You go up them two at a time, just not even looking down at his feet, and walk right over to me and start talking. If he were a plant, he goes up to the stairs and acts like he's never seen stairs before. Because the guy does not want to tip that he's been up those stairs every fucking night for the past 6 months. So he goes up and pretends he's never seen stairs. So I watch it on our show, and I'll just say, I just can't believe that a person jogs down the aisle and takes 3 steps at a time, bounds up on stage and stands next to me. And I go, well, of course he does. He's seen stairs before.
Yeah.
It's not like,
that's funny.
What are these things your culture has? Stairs.
Yeah.
That's funny.
I take 1 step up and then another. And when we would go to see, and I won't mention names, it's not important, but I guess they're dead now, but we go to see the old timers. You'd have a couple plants in the audience. Tell and I would sit there, and we'd know the trick was coming up, and we'd say, watch the guy hit the stairs. And he'd go, oh, me?
Stairs.
It's me? Okay. And you walk up to the stairs and go, okay. Very nice to meet you, sir.
That's great.
I've never seen stairs in my life.
They're trying to look shy or hesitant, and that's the place they do it.
Have you ever thought of writing a book on the history of magic and some of these people none of us have heard of before?
Well, it would be, Ricky Jay has done a wonderful job of doing that.
There is a good book out there.
Yeah, Fireproof Women and Learned Pigs, I think it's called. Learned Pigs and Fireproof Women.
Okay.
Where he talks, Ricky Jay, who's the expert on this.
Right.
The reason I haven't written a book is there's someone so much better. And Ricky knows everything.
Right.
And Ricky's the one that wrote about the guy with all the pieces of paper. And David has the suit.
How many pockets are in that, by the way?
It's endless.
It's
endless pockets. You know, guys. You guys know Eddie Gordetsky, don't you?
No.
Eddie G. Okay. Well, there's record collectors and there's record collectors. Now, most vinyl record collectors who have like 20,000 records, they're like nuts for alphabetizing and alphabetizing within genre and alphabetizing within genre and within year. They've got it all laid out perfectly. Eddie Gordetsky, who writes on 2.5 Men, he writes on this show, Mom. He's the creator of, he's a genius. He has like 40,000 records.
Wow.
And what killed me about him is you go over to Eddie's house and go, do you have that Lightning Hopkins thing? And he goes, oh yeah. And he walks over and just pulls it out. And you go, is that alpha? He goes, I don't alphabetize anything. I just remember where I put it last time.
Come on.
And you go, that's just amazing.
Crazy.
Guys do that. So guys that have record collections that don't have them laid out, that remember where it is. And the human mind can handle that.
Right.
So this guy just had, he had pockets. And the problem with that is David said that he negotiated to buy it from the estate. He wanted to get the coat. And he paid whatever he paid for it and made the deal. And the person that sold it to him pulled everything out of the pockets, had it dry cleaned.
Oh, my God. Why would you do
out of the pockets? And David said, I really wanted the things in the exact pockets they were in the lesson.
Had it dry cleaned?
Oh, my God.
But it's just all these pockets and stuff. I was thrilled with seeing that. And, you see like, the Rosebud, the sled from Citizen Kane.
Wow.
David has that. David has like, the helicopter from, Live and Let Die. He has amazing stuff. It's this beautiful warehouse and it's set out beautifully. And the great thing is he's not a rich asshole pointing to things. He knows every single thing there. Plus, and I mean, this is the obvious thing to mention, but pretty interesting. He has all the Copperfield stuff, which I mean, I guess that's not amazing in terms of acquiring, but every single special he did, every piece of wardrobe, every single trick laid out for everything he done, which by the way, Penn and Teller don't have.
Why?
For our own stuff. Because you threw shit away.
Oh, Jesus.
He has things laid out just beautifully. There's people that come to us with Penn and Teller things, like they've got like a brochure or a program we wrote back in the 80s, and we'll look at it and I'll show it to Teller. They'll take JPEGs of it, send it to us, and Teller will go, I never saw that before. And I'll go, me neither. And I go, well, obviously I wrote it. Obviously you laid it out. Obviously we paid for it in the paper, and we've just forgotten it.
Do you have any collections? Or you seem like a guy you don't really care too much about.
I have a lot of trouble caring about my own stuff.
Right.
Our parents, our moms and dads, all 4 of them are dead now, but their scrapbooks were phenomenal.
Right.
My parents had, everything, and so did Teller's parents, and they actually, they were elderly, and they it was really a hobby with them. I mean, what a wonderful hobby, collecting your son's stuff. But they would also, Irene would call Val. Val was my mom. Irene was Teller's mom. Would say, "Did you get the TV guide of when they were on last Saturday Night Live? Because I don't have that TV guide. Could you pick would up if you had. They'd buy stuff for each other and send it back and forth. So, and the poor paperboy. The paperboy, if we were on Letterman the night before, the paperboy had to come in on his route and watch that take. Had to watch that hit. My parents would say, listen, Johnny, did you see Penn and Teller on Letterman last night? No, Mr. and Mrs. Jillette, I'm 12. I go to bed at 10. Well, you should come in here and see this. He'd sit in the living room, and they'd show him the Letterman shot.
Proud parents.
Yeah, well, sure, why not?
My dad would do that to me. I was in Buffalo radio. No one knew who the fuck I was, and he'd come to visit me, and he would have to stop strangers on the street. Do you know who he is? I'm like, Dad, no one knows who I am. I'm just starting out.
And there's nothing.
But the pride in him.
There's nothing better.
I loved it, to be honest with you. I wish I embraced it more at the time, because I was like, I was a dick. Like, Dad, come on, you're embarrassing me. But now, now he's gone, and
we all wish the exact same thing.
But no one knew me. Are you kidding me? And I was exclusively on radio. Like, they didn't know. Or whatever.
So wait a minute, I'm obsessed. Did they throw out the shit that was in his pockets, or did they give it to him just not in the pockets?
He has the shit, but not in the pockets.
So he doesn't know where they all. And I'm obsessed with the fact that he's going to get stumped. So how does he get around that?
I imagine he has jokes, right? He has jokes. I mean, all you got to do is picture Jim going out to these exact same clubs, and instead of doing your act is you're going to have shtickala on every piece of paper someone can name.
Right.
And you've got a joke on every possible thing they can name, and you have 10 jokes for when you're stumped. You have 20 jokes to go over that, because it all comes down to entertainment. It all comes down to stand-up. He's doing a stand-up act. He just has a coat.
And there's probably a way, even when you're stumped, to get them from where you're stumped into something you have. Right. There's got to be a joke way to get you there.
If you can't do that, you've got another joke about not being able to do that.
Right.
We don't have any recordings of the guys.
What do you think his average had to be to totally pull off this this trick?
I used to, in Ricky J's book, there's a number of items he has on him, but it's tens of thousands.
But I mean, if, let's say he picks, how many people did he pick during one show?
I don't know. A lot of this stuff is not known.
Gotcha.
But it's a 12-minute vaudeville act.
12 minutes. So
which I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm subtly lobbying for Jim to do this act. I mean, the stand-up's going well for you, but you could move into that. It'd be wonderful.
This could probably do a lot better than the stand-up is done, to be honest with you. I'm due for a change.
You could talk to David. You could say, can we go to the museum? Let me just go through this stuff I'm thinking of starting. And you could start out with 2 Springsteen tickets and build from there every time you're stumped.
I really want to see that jacket now, though. That's very interesting.
Yeah, there's great stuff.
We're going to knock on Copperfield's door next time we're in L.A.
Yeah. Well, he'll show you through.
I think so.
It's a
L.A. or Vegas?
It's Vegas.
Vegas. Yeah, right.
And
Vegas.
it's right over from our warehouse. And all you need to know about Penn and Teller and David Copperfield is the 2 warehouses. David Copperfield has 18-wheelers with his picture on the side that say the magic of David Copperfield. We have an old beat-up 18-wheeler that says road shows. Because he bought it from some place that just says road shows.
Never slapped a new...
Never slapped a new thing on it.
New coat of paint on it?
His thing says, I think it's his real name, like his father's, it's an exact copy of his father's tailor shop back where he grew up, It just says this beautiful, like, Cotkin's tail. This whole thing's set up. Ours just says the last name of, like, the trucking company that happened to be in there. We never changed it. You walk into our thing, it's just like a folding desk set up, and we have kind of a conference room where we kind of sort of meet. It is the most half-assed, bullshit, jive-ass place, and Copperfield's is beautiful. And they're in, like, the same area in Vegas, Right. But if someone said to you, you want to go to the Penn and Teller shop or the Copperfield shop, you would go, what, Penn and Teller have a place here? What is this?
That's why I love you. Seriously, that's why I love you. Did you guys always get along? You and Copperfield?
Oh, we've gone through we've gone through feuds that were real and feuds that were fake. We've gone through angry phone calls in the middle of the night. We've gone through...
Why?
Wonderful.
Can you give us one?
What's a real feud about?
Yeah, a real feud or one of the angry calls.
I said, I would say something on a radio show like this, maybe even on this radio show, I don't really remember, where I would say something that he felt crossed a line and gave away a little bit of a trick.
Oh.
And he would say, listen, man, we know what the rules are, man. Do not do that. You do not make fun of this thing or that thing. You do not make, you don't make sex jokes about this. When he was going out with
Claudia Schiffer.
Claudia, he really didn't want jokes made about Claudia.
Right.
And I really respected that. And then someone would get going on a roll here, and I'd put in one thing, and he would call up and go, hey, yeah, but he would call me up, and I remember one of the greatest conversations ever. David called me up, and David said, Penn, I told you just now for the next little while, because you've been hitting hard, to just lay back and just not say my name. And you said to me on the phone, I will not even mention your name. I will not do that. Let's just cool out. There's no reason to do this. This is fine. And then he said, you gave me your word. You made a promise. Then 3 days later, during an interview, you came right out of the gate making a joke. And I said, David, the only way I can win this argument is to be on your side. I said, you are completely right. He said, it's like crack to you. He said, it's like talking to an alcoholic who says, yeah, now I'm clean. I won't do this anymore. Right. And he says, 3 days later, you just do it. And I got off the phone, and I said to my wife, I said, that was David yelling at me for something I said. And she said, oh, man, why didn't he leave you alone? He's such a dick. I said, he's completely right.
Right.
And I told her, and she said, you promised him, and then 3 days later, you went and did exactly what you promised you would do? And I said, yes. And she went, you're such a fucking dick. I said, yeah, I know. But you get tied into, you're rolling and...
Well, I could kind of relate. Me and Anthony over the years with program directors, it's like a drug. Like they'll sit us down and like, don't do this. And we would. I remember I would promise,
and you meant it.
I meant it.
And you were not fucking with them.
I'm so glad there's someone else out there like this.
You absolutely, honestly meant it.
I thought I was alone in this. I know I got issues, but I thought I was alone on this one. I would go, Dave. It was Dave Douglas, mostly in Boston. Yeah. Dave, I promise you. We had fun with that, and I see your point, and I will not do it.
And Anthony will not do it. And he's 100% right.
He completely believes me, and I feel like I'm really telling the truth.
Of course you are.
Not 5 minutes later. We would walk down the hall and start our show with it. That's an illness, right?
Yeah.
No, this is how I am with cheating.
Really?
Yes. I mean it when I say I'll be good, I love you, and then the first chance I get, I'm fucking knee-deep in it.
And then he would come marching down from his office, wait for us to go to break, because he was never brave enough to come on our show and confront us. And he'd be waiting outside that door, and he goes, I thought we talked about this. And then I would play my role again and meant to like, oh, yeah, but I thought if we...
I didn't even have the I thought.
Wow. But the I thought was kind of like bullshitting, I guess, a bit.
It was just...
And then I was back to like, no, okay, now I understand. Now I think we're good.
There were times that I did have some sort of wiggle room, like I said. And David has always, from the beginning, treated us well. Always treated us well. Always been right about everything.
You start before him?
No. I mean, he's 2 years younger than me.
Okay.
And he got famous much, much quicker than me. I mean, 10 years faster than me, 15 years faster.
Really?
Yeah, he was well known when he was 20.
Wow.
His first TV specials, he was 20.
He was only 20 back then.
Oh yeah. He was
when we first.
Yeah, he was a superstar in the 70s, and he's now 56 years old. I mean, he was a superstar.
He's not even that old yet.
Yeah,
considering another guy I've known my entire life, it feels like.
Yeah, he was incredibly successful, and then we hit the scene making Copperfield jokes,
right?
And he would be very, very gracious and cool, and then I would, cross a line that was very understandable,
right?
And he'd go, "Come on, cut it out." What are you doing? And then I did this thing that it is so perfectly Penn and Teller. But it's a dick thing to do. He decided that it would be funny to have a feud, right? And he said to me, well, I'll say something and you say something. We'll go back and forth in the press and do the Daily News and Stern and stuff. We'll have a lot of fun attacking. It'll be like professional wrestling. Mm-hmm. And I said, sure. So I said, this is what I'm going to say in the press. And David said, what should I say back? And I said, well, okay, well, you say...
Shouldn't he come up with that far?
Sure, he could, but he just, we're brainstoring.
All right, you're working together.
It's no big deal. Gotcha. So I said to him, well, first of all, when you hear the quotation, you just say right out. Now, let me get this straight. Which one said that? Was it the dummy or the blowhard? Just say that, and you're fine.
Right.
And I said, you don't even comment on what we said. So we did that, went back and forth a couple times, and then I go on Stern, right? And Stern says, did you see what Copperfield said in the press today about you? And I said, yeah, I wrote it. And Stern says, you haven't seen the newspaper yet. I said, no, but here's what it says. And,
word for word,
yeah. And Copperfield calls me and goes, that wasn't part of the, that wasn't what you were. What do you?
I got the same problem. I really do. You know when like a kid has a rare disease and you finally find another one? I'm so happy today. I'm so happy.
And it's not a secret.
And I can't help it.
Your career absolutely shows that.
Right.
Everything.
I can't help it, but I mean it when I say it.
Oh, I know. And that's the part when you're watching someone else do it. Right. I mean, that's why saying alcoholic, I think, is the right thing. When you're watching someone else do it, you can't believe that at that moment they believe it. I mean, if people listening, when you say about your transgressions, they certainly believe, well, Opie was just jacking off the manager. Right. He had no intention of doing that. No. They see you as some sort of hero, as some sort of, the sexier, more interesting thing to do is go, I'm going to go in here, I'm going to jack them around, tell them I'm cool, I'm going to come back in and boom, I'll hit it hard right away. And that's never the way it is. I guarantee you, in every case of someone doing this, it's exactly someone who feels like
and this doesn't feel real ever, just talking into a microphone to me. No. I feel like it's okay because it's like a microphone and you can say
but also after a while you got to put the not just on you but on the person who's believing you. It's like with the codependent has to take some sort of responsibility after the 30th time.
All you're just saying is fool me once, shame on me, fool me twice.
Yeah, fool me 30 times. I'm an asshole.
But David and I, over the years, I've somehow working together in couples therapy, he's pulled me in line. And I believe, and I'm going through my head now, is there anything in this particular hunk, which would be great, if I get a phone call from David going, when you were on Opie, man, what do you...
Please let me know.
But anyway, all this said, we need to have him do the Otto and George show. Because no one loved Otto and George more than David.
We called him right when it happened. And the next day, he was bummed, man.
And I loved and respected Otto tremendously. I mean, there's really few better acts in show business. And my regard for him was through the roof, and David has me beat. And you had him on a zillion times.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, we did. The frustration was that I felt like he should have been way bigger than he was.
Well, yeah. He should have been a superstar, And even in the ultra dirty ring, he should have been a superstar. I mean, even if he didn't make mainstream,
because there was cleverness to it.
Oh yeah, and also, but not just cleverness, but such a incredibly important, deep idea about the demons that live inside us. I mean, ventriloquism always has that built in. It always has that schizophrenia thing built in. But the way he would explore his own demons with that dummy, which I know is called the figure, but I'm calling it a dummy,
right?
Was just.
You'd be uncomfortable as an audience member, like, oh my God, is he really going there?
That was my favorite thing when his inner monologue would fly out. Like, I forget what he was doing one time, but he did something, and George looked at him and said, "Sweat, you Danish junkie," and that made me laugh so fun. What a great thing for a person to say to themselves.
I saw him once when he said to George, this is a standard part of his act. He said to George, if you didn't do jokes like that, we would be able to work more. And the dummy turned to him and said, the reason we don't work more is you sold your answering machine for crack. It was just.
I want to change gears because it has to be said. Your take on Anthony was pretty smart. Really smart, actually.
Well, everybody here. Everybody here loves him and understand. I don't know every philosophy. Like I said, like you said, I've never hung out with you socially, nor have I hung out with Anthony. I probably know his sister better because she stopped in after the show. But we have this. You can do something wrong, and it doesn't mean you're a bad person forever. And I didn't want. I'm not going to defend anything he said or anything he did, and he doesn't need me to. But I'm not willing to just write him off as a person. And I also know that human beings are programmed that when there is an altercation, you get upset. And it's hard to pull it back. I know that we did a thing on 3-Card Monty, saying that it was a scam, and we did a public service announcements in the 80s with Run DMC, did these public service announcements saying don't play 3-Card Monty.
That 3-Card Monty was very believable, though.
Very believable.
As a kid coming in from Long Island, I'm like, wow, I know where that fucking card is.
And we explained it.
Yeah.
And
because people were really losing a lot of their money.
We explained it just saying, we're Penn and Teller, we do magic. This is the cheat. Here's how it works. Just don't play it. You can't possibly win. And I'm walking home in Times Square, because I love New York. Walking home in Times Square, saw midnight movie. It's about 3 a.m. I'm walking back. I used to live on 36th, and I'm walking through there, and a bunch of guys come up, and they say to me, you did those public service announcements on 3-Card Monty. And I said, yeah, I don't know where it's going, right? You get, and they go, why don't you mind your own fucking business? And then they spit right in my face.
Wow.
And it turns out when people spit in your face, it's not the people you'd want to spit in your face.
Right.
It's not like Scarlett Johansson.
Right, exactly.
Scarlett Johansson,
you would take a loogie from Scarlett Johansson.
Sure.
No problem, right?
It's somebody with 3-Card Monty breath.
But this guy is really, if you listed 100 people for me to get spit on, he'd be the bottom of them. And there's 2 or 3 of them. And I'm with my friends, and all this fucking anger comes up, and then they start really pushing me. And they go, next time you do something like that, we're going to really fuck you up, And then they kind of disappear, and I'm there with spit on my face.
How much spit? A good amount.
An unpleasant amount. And my friends are going, oh, man, they spit. I just don't talk about it, And I did this kind of weird thing. I kind of took my shirt off and cleaned my face with my shirt, and then just threw it down. So now I have no shirt, and I've been pushed around, and I know that the anger I had. My friends wanted to fight and stuff, and I was going, no, don't do that. And I'm very proud that we didn't hit back.
Were you scared when it happened, or were you angry, or were you frightened?
All of those. But I'm a nut peacenik. I've never hit anybody in my life, and I think all the hypothetical arguments you want to make, I'll make. I would protect my family, obviously. I would protect someone who was going to be killed. But I'm just going to tell you, if you're going to hit me in the face and that's as far as you're going to go, you're not going to get hit back with me. It's as simple as that. If you're going to spit on me, I'm not going to hit you back. I'm telling you right now, so when I'm walking down the street, don't test me. But it's true.
Was it enough spit where David Copperfield would be happy? I need to know.
Yeah, he probably hired them. Right. Yeah, probably 3 of his plants.
And I get back to my apartment, and there was not Twitter then, and there was not a way for me to vent. As it turned out, I wrote an editorial in the New York Times about that incident.
Really?
Just talking about how that's not a big deal. That's not like a really brave act to bust 3-Card Monty and then get spit on for it. In world history, that doesn't even merit a footnote. But when it happens to you, It's really fucking heavy.
That's why you're like a Norma Ray of fucking 3-5 Monty.
And as I watched this, I just said, I would not want to have been publicly responsible for every thought that went through my head after I was spit on in Times Square. I'm sure that some of my rage was directed incorrectly. You know, I'm sure that, and I'm not remembering actual things I'm avoiding saying. I'm just saying I know that my state of mind had taken over from intellectual. I was just full of disgust and anger. And I'm very proud of myself that I didn't fight. I mean, I would have lost. I mean, this cowardice is part of it. I mean, don't get me wrong. Cowardice is a big part of it. But also, there wasn't even an attempt. I was able to control myself.
When you got home, because with Ant, like when he really didn't hit the woman back, and then he gets home, and I think sometimes when the shock of what you're going through, like in that moment you're in survival or whatever you are, protect yourself or be aware of the environment, and then when it wears off, the humiliation or the anger comes out, and I think that's why there's a delayed reaction sometimes.
And there's a thing that lawyers say. You know, lawyers say the client they want the least is a successful white guy who's really good at speaking. If you are involved in a court case, like if you got something serious slapped on you and they put you on testimony, your lawyer would say to you, listen, Opie, you've always been able to talk yourself out of everything. You can't do it now. Shut the fuck up.
Wow.
And your whole case would be based on if you could shut the fuck up. That's all. Whether you walked or whether you went to jail would be based on, can Opie sit in the seat and shut the fuck up? Can he say yes and no? And when you spend your life using words as you're living, and as your protection and everything, it really asking Anthony not to tweet is a little like, which we do ask, by the way, we ask this, is like asking Tyson, you know, someone's going to come up and hit you in the face 4 or 5 times, don't hit him back. Well, of course, we insist that Tyson not do that. He would kill the person. But we also understand when you've been trained in your whole life this is what I do. And I just thought if a keyboard had been available to me to talk to the whole world that night, I would have tried really hard to make sure that I phrased everything so that I was the hero. I mean, that's the goal, to phrase that so I'm the hero. But I don't know if I would have been successful.
Right.
You know?
Because, I mean, when you're really that upset, you go to ugly places, too. We all know that. We all do that.
Yeah, everybody
you come
does.
up with the worst words possible. And,
yeah.
And you really...
to me, that was the problem.
And not the worst words, also the worst arguments.
Right, sure.
I mean, not even a particular word, but
no,
just,
you're not level-headed at that point. It's all emotion.
And yet nobody should condone that.
Right.
No one should say afterwards, well, everything he said I'm standing behind, because no. It's just exactly like if a professional boxer is pushed around and hauls off and hits the person and kills them, nobody says, well, he had a perfect right to kill him, but you might say, wow, what a bad situation.
But imagine if a boxer was this is the case where a boxer was getting punched and he just shoved back, and he got in trouble. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Anthony didn't full off hit somebody.
No, but we're also what I'm talking about is I'm talking about moving the medium. He went from physical to intellectual.
Right.
And I'm saying that Anthony is much more, 100,000 times more used to defending himself verbally than he is physically.
Sure.
So I'm just saying that the altercation continued, and what we were actually watching was him punching back, but just punching back, typing.
Yeah, and I wish that the press would have focused on the part that he didn't physically attack.
Well, yeah,
that was he didn't punch this woman he didn't punch this woman in the face, and that was to me a huge thing that he didn't do.
The main thing I said was, you know, if I wrong you in some way and you have a choice between saying really awful things to me and pulling a gun and shooting me, please go with the saying awful things. And I think of the choices he had, he did not choose the best choice. The best choice would be to walk away and shut the fuck up. He did not choose that. He also did not choose the worst choice. I mean, we could be having this discussion here with someone that we knew. Let's not make it Anthony because it's too unpleasant what could be pulled out of context. But if we were having a discussion about a person who had been attacked, had been packing, had pulled a gun and shot that person, we would have the discussion where we would go, man, if they had just gone on Twitter and vented, for like 4 hours, the worst kind of shit that came into their head, wouldn't that have been better? Wouldn't that have been a lot better? So yes, and because he did the thing that's better than the worst thing does not make him a hero. A lot of people jump down my throat on.
I was going to bring that up because you had a very good take on this, an intelligent take, by the way, and that's not good enough for people. And I talked off air with you, and then people were attacking you.
Yeah,
for having an intelligent take on this.
I don't think it was a really,
and I'm not surprised by that. But
what do you do? I mean, this is the really big question. And I'm not going to go into the details on this because it's really unpleasant. But I have a very good friend, a very well respected friend, who had a friend that he had since childhood, who was busted on an awful charge that he was guilty of. Like rape level. That wasn't what it was. I don't want to point out to what it could be. I don't want to figure it out. But that friend of his, who he did not defend, he did not say was innocent, he did not support him in any way, he went to the prison and visited him. Went to the prison and visited him several times when he was in prison for a pretty long stretch, and got really ripped apart for supporting his friend. And that's the part that's really, really hard to understand. I mean, if you had someone that you love dearly and they did something that was within your morality and everyone else's morality absolutely wrong, and they were doing a stretch in prison that you also thought was a stretch they deserved to do, do you think you should be busted for going to prison and saying, "How you doing, baby? You hanging in?" I mean, that's a hard question.
That's a really hard question.
Is part of what you should do shun that person completely? Now, I'm using a very, very hyperbolic example. I mean, Anthony's nothing like that. But it is the question of it's ideas or people. Is there a situation? And with my family, I don't believe there's a line they can cross that I wouldn't support them. And then as you move out of your circle, it's how much you would support them. Obviously a member of your family, you would not only visit them in prison, but also try to get them out. But,
wow, you're making me look like a dick today. There's a few family members I haven't talked to in a few years. For much less, by the way. Yeah. Much, much less.
Yeah, parking tickets. You just write them off. They're immoral.
Boy, do I feel like a dick.
But you know what I mean?
Might have to make a phone call or two today.
You know what I mean?
It's easy to say, but if I follow you correctly, I think I would shun that person. I really do. But
I don't know.
But I'm not in it.
I think I would too. I think I would shun them too.
It would depend on who they were and my relationship with them and how I felt about them.
It sounds like it's a real. I think I know what he's talking about.
I'm guessing
what the guy did.
I'm going to guess kid touching. I don't know the guy. I don't know anything he's talking about.
Don't comment.
I'm guessing.
That's sort of the
worst thing I can think of.
And so I think I would have to shun that person.
But are there people who I would still talk to if they're in jail and they had done that?
I know you're not saying what it is.
I'm not saying to try to get them out of jail. Right. I'm not saying to try to avoid punishment.
You mean just go see them?
I'm just saying it's been 6 months. They're in there. You know they're suffering. You also, I will add, know they deserve to suffer. Do you go in and sit across the glass and pick up the phone and say, "How you doing, baby"? That's that question.
Depending on the person, I very well might.
It's easy to say no because I'm not in the situation. Yeah. I think maybe you would have to think harder about it.
And then the other question is, if you're a public figure, are you able to go and say to them, "How you doing, baby," without being attacked for condoning the act? That's the question. In other words, if you heard that I had a buddy, your relation with me, and you heard that I had a best friend, which I actually do. I have a best friend who went in and did time for murder, and you found out that it was in the press, it was on Daily News. You know, one of the stories is Penn's friend who killed his wife 5 years ago. Penn went to Rikers, said how he was doing. Would you come on the air and go, you know, Penn should really not be condoning murder?
No. No, to be honest with you, no. I don't think that guy should be crucified by the press. Because he made it clear he didn't support the guy through the whole thing.
Yeah, you're not really showing, and you're certainly not saying that. So, using that really hyperbolic example, it's very. I think we're allowed to say that we disagree with someone's actions, but still have a relationship with them. I think we have to be allowed to do that because, as it comes down to really simple things, there are things we disagree about. You and I don't think we shun each other over those.
No.
I don't think we have. So the question is, where do you cross those lines? And it just keeps expanding. And I'll also add to you, getting
your
spit
example
on
was
really unpleasant.
Your example was pretty drastic, though.
Yeah.
It made it very easy to, in my mind, to go, yeah, I would probably have to shun that person.
Yeah, but you keep coming down, you know.
Right.
Everything is just a degree from there, and it's where you actually draw that line.
Wow, that's heavy, man. Before we let you go, because oh
my God,
yeah, we could continue, but I just want to make sure we properly promote the new show there, Penn.
Yeah, please do.
Fool Us, right?
Yeah.
You came in and talked about this. You did this in Britain.
Louis C.K. was just crazy for this show.
That's right. That's right.
I thought it was great.
Yeah.
And we said at the time, man, they got to bring this to America. And now it's coming to America, right?
It's coming to America. The first season of this is re-edited versions of the British version.
Okay.
It's re-edited. And
why re-edited?
Why?
Well, because it has to fit, the formats are different for where commercials
and you would have a different take on
like that,
different shots, whatever. Yeah, that's
But we put it all together differently. But what I really love about this is CW is putting it on, and the big cheese at CW came to us, which I love. I love the kind of frankness about this. And he said, you know, we really want a second season of this. We really want to do an American version, and we're all set and all the paperwork's in play. You don't have to get great ratings for us to do that. You just have to do okay. He walked away, and I was like, well, I like that, but I don't know if that's the pep talk. You know, I wonder if he said that to every show that was on the air.
Yeah.
You know, we're really excited about your show. It's really, really good, Jim. You know, we think if you're doing ratings, we're hoping you do okay.
Yes, we're not expecting miracles. Continue in your mediocrity, and we'll love to have you back.
I think they're saying that about us down the hall. So,
But, so if you liked the show in England, let CW know that you liked that show in England, so we could do a second season.
I loved it. I really loved it.
It's upcoming magicians that are trying to trick you.
I know it's sometimes it's really established magicians.
It's established.
We had great magicians,
and they're trying to fool you with their illusions and their tricks and
we
whatnot.
were really careful about it. We didn't know who was coming on, what trick they were doing. We saw no rehearsals, nothing, completely cold. And we don't comment. I mean, we do comment occasionally in a positive way, but we're not there to judge their showmanship, their jokes, how they fool the audience. It's a very simple set of rules. Do you fool us? You know, they talked about it when we were pitching the show. They talked about how are we going to know whether they fooled you or not? And I said, the magicians and we will know before anybody else does. It'll just be eye contact. And they went, no, but what's the rule in case? I go, this is a gentleman's game. You know, so the person comes out, they finish their act, the audience is on their feet, going crazy, you know, telling I talk a little bit, the guy looks down at us, we go, just a little bit of a shrug, and the guy goes, oh yeah, they got it.
And it's also, well, this is what I love, they don't just kill somebody. If they think they got it, they'll give little hints, which kind of tell them, we got it. But we're not going to blow it for the audience unless you push us. And the magicians, a lot of times, you'd give one keyword, and they'd go, nah, they got it. And that'd be it. It was so
because they want to protect their illusions still.
And these guys are being cool by not fucking with them.
It's also a game of chicken. You know, do you think we're wrong? Because I can say a little more. And I also we try to be...
And what do they get if they fool you? Because if
they fool us, they get to come and do part of our show in Vegas.
Right.
You go on stage.
How many people fooled you?
Out of the... about one a show. They try to time it that way. So about 10%. And some of them, in really cheesy ways, some of them really clever ways, some of them really wonderful. And people ask, did you figure them out afterwards? And the truth is, we went to commercial, the guys ran, and the guys that fooled us ran and just told us right away what it was. They were just so excited.
And they wanted you to know that,
sure.
we weren't lying when we said that we didn't do it that way. This is how we did it.
We went,
Were there any that made you go like, fuck? That was
Oh, there's a couple. And you can see them on the air. You can see Teller and I not like going fuck, but literally going, fuck. And there's one that comes out and does a trick that we used to do. He does a trick that we used to do. It's a standard trick that everyone does. He does it a different way. So he starts doing the trick, and Teller and I are sitting there, and you can see in the reaction shots, we are completely relaxed because we know exactly how he's going to do it. We know exactly that he's going to open the envelope, and he's going to reach in his hand and pull it out. We know he's going to do that, and we have no tension whatsoever. He rips open the envelope, he holds his hand out and dumps it instead of reaching into the envelope. And all of a sudden, Teller and I go from relaxed to full combat mode. Because we know how he's going to do it. He does it an entirely different way. And I look over at Teller, and Teller goes, I got nothing. I would have known. He goes, yeah, you would have known if he'd done it the way we've done it, but he didn't. And we go, no idea,
Wow.
And the guy also, I love it because the whole performance, he knows that we know exactly how to do this trick, and he's got another way. And the other thing I try to do is I'm very aware that young people starting out in magic will be watching this show. So I try, when I give them the keyword, I try to give them a word like a brand name or an author that they can then look up themselves and find out everything we're saying. So you can watch it as just entertainment, let it flow over you. But if you're a real magic nerd, we say stuff like, isn't that right out of Tarbell, the 3rd volume? So we know that the magic kids can go to their library and go, yeah, it's right there. He just explained the whole thing. It's right. I just read right along with it. So we try to lay it on them.
Did you guys ever whisper into their ears?
We did,
because that would be kind of funny to see as a viewer.
At one point, Teller goes up. Teller also at one point draws a sketch, which is great.
Oh, really?
He just draws a sketch. We go up. They go, "Have you got it?" And Teller, while we're doing the discussion, Teller just kind of goes like this. And the guy goes, fine, takes the paper, just kind of rolls it up and goes, yep, you got it.
and leaves.
Yeah, I'm out of there.
It really is a good show. I've only seen a few online.
I loved it.
I'm going to watch the whole series.
I want to see the complete episodes. That's why I'll watch it on TV, because online there's little clips of it, but I want to see the entire, because Jonathan Ross is great.
It's exactly what we do at our show, backstage. Pretty much every magician comes to our show at some point. They go backstage to the green room afterwards, telling our eating our supper after the show like we do. And invariably, one of the magicians, a magician from Spain will be in, and he'll just, while we're eating, he'll go, have you seen this? Pull out a deck of cards, and he'll do a trick for us. And there'll be like a few civilians around, and then there'll be that's how we got the idea for the show. Then there'll be us, and he does the trick for us and goes, see anything like that? And always looking right at Teller. And it's this great moment because there's civilians in the room. No one knows the culture, anything. And Teller just kind of goes, yeah, seen it. And it's the end of it and a big smile. And then every 10th time this happens, they can see anything like this. Teller's going, no idea. Fooled the shit out of me.
Really?
Yeah. And it's just this real kind of, it's exactly analogous to comics.
Because Teller knows more of the tricks than
much more than me. Yeah. Teller's the
I remember you telling us
the brains of the outfit is Teller. Yeah.
Why can't you bring him in here?
Sure.
Is he in New York to promote as well?
Not right now. I think he left a little earlier.
Will he talk on our show? How does that go?
Maybe you should have him on without me, because he could do it without me.
But he would talk.
Yeah.
Does he talk on other shows?
Only if I'm not involved in a very... He's never done anything like this.
Well, let me ask you, does he not talk because... Has he just kind of given up?
Teller is a Latin and Greek scholar who taught Latin and Greek.
Right.
Teller is very articulate, very, very well-spoken. We will do Q&As occasionally, and he directed The Tempest. He's very articulate. He does, when he was promoting some solo thing he was doing, some directing thing.
Yeah, I remember that in the Village.
He went on to some morning local DJs who went right to, the first comment he made that wasn't exactly where they wanted in the pocket. They went, well, we can see why you don't talk. I guess you should shut up. Why don't you do the morning radio guy that shit? And he was kind of pissed off. So I would have to tell him, but he'll go on there, he'll be cool.
No, we would. I'd be fascinated by him. But it must drive him nuts that he's that articulate and he doesn't get to talk, though.
Well, no, except
he doesn't care.
He does do all the talking and the rehearsal and all of that. He's very happy
with the press thing.
He's never ever complained about it. The other thing that's amazing, he has never in 40 years, and it's knocking on 40 years now, he has never said after a hunk, boy, I wish you hadn't said that.
Really?
Or you shouldn't have done that, or you didn't get in trouble. He will either compliment or say nothing. When I've tanked afterwards, when I didn't do the joke quite right afterwards, Teller never says a word. But we did Seth Meyers last night, and afterwards Teller said, that was the best couch stuff you've done. You were just relaxed and set. And then I said, because we were coming up on a really short magic trick that I knew was really, really hard. See, we've got to the point, in the 80s, if we did Letterman and something, we had to do cockroaches and, drowning and huge fucking things. And now we've been around enough, we have a little bit of respect, we can go on with just a deck of cards and go, oh, by the way, no one else in the world can do this. And I really like that we can do it. So we did a trick for Seth Meyers last night. And I knew that Seth had seen us when he was a kid and really liked our magic and stuff. So we asked him, can we do something less splashy and just destroy you with it?
Wow.
And he said, sure. So he did this trick that, you go through everything in your head that it could possibly be. And it much, much harder than anything in our show, but just a deck of cards, nothing else. And that's really fun to do. And Teller's always completely supportive of everything.
That's awesome. Good for you.
But it's 40 years, man. So,
Yeah. Penn, Jillette, everyone. God, I love when you do this show, brother.
Check out it's called, what's it called? Fool Us?
Fool Us.
Penn on CW, 8 o'clock on Wednesday.
Night. Yeah, tomorrow night on the CW. Like you said, 8 o'clock. It's Penn Jillette on Twitter. And, of course, Sunday School, one of the podcasts I still listen to.
Oh, good. Well, thank you.
I absolutely listen to Sunday School. It's great. And I think that's it for today.
I have one plug.
Oh, we'll come back.
Oh, are we? Okay.
Yeah, we'll come back for a few minutes because we got to end with the Lady Dies thing. She's on the line.
Okay.
Lady Dies on the line?
Oh, you don't want to know.
Yeah.
I promise
not the one from England. This one's in worse shape.
You don't want to know. We'll do a quick break, and then we're going to do a quick wrap up next. So stay there. Penn Jillette, everyone.
Sirius 206, XM 103. The guys are back.
Jimmy. What's going on, Sam?
Jim's in Troy studio. We'll be right back, though.
How great was that Penn Jillette?
Penn Jillette's one of our favorite guests.
I love Penn Jillette. He always has a great take on things. He's very, very smart.
Yeah, it's intimidating. Like,
he's
you don't
very
know,
good at talking.
You don't know how to have a conversation with him because you're just worried about sounding dumb constantly.
Right.
That's how I feel.
He used me as an example of a white guy that knows how to talk.
And you're like, I don't want to mess this up.
No, I was thinking to myself, oh boy, I guess he doesn't really listen to the show at all. He picked the wrong guy. Not that articulate at times.
That's not true.
Just talking about Penn and how great he is.
Penn, he could not.
Oh, you heard?
He should not have used a worse example of a person.
I really appreciate Jimmy not throwing me
I
under
didn't
the
say
bus.
anything, but I was literally in shock. I'm like, what is he saying?
And I'm looking at him like, that's right. I'm articulate. Trying to show him the confidence, like, that's right, Penn. You picked the right guy.
That's right. Except he said, that's right. He's right. I'm articulated. You know,
But I'm looking at Jimmy at the corner of my eye, like, oh, is he going to throw me under the bus?
I couldn't. I couldn't.
Because he saw me feeling good. Feeling good about myself.
This will never happen again. I'm gonna be straight.
Let him enjoy it. That was fun, though, man.
That was great. He's amazing.
I love Penn Jillette, and I listened to his Sunday school.
And I really do love that show. I want to see it in
I've only seen the clips, like,
form,
yeah, exactly. I've seen a few clips, and it's really, really, really smart and clever and fun. And
everything they do is kind of original and has like a really cool. I don't know how they've made like magic. What they've made it as interesting and cool as you can possibly make it, and it's like I always want to watch what they're doing because it's always it doesn't never feels like stale or oh, I've seen this before. Those guys are fucking great, man.
And I think he really should write a book on the history of magic. Yeah. All those people you don't really know about and all that obscure stuff, that would be a fascinating read. But like you said, somebody has already written that book. So
yes.
Maybe I'll check that out. The Andy Kindler thing.
Yeah, where's Roland? We got to talk about that.
Can we talk about Andy Kindler tomorrow, though? Because we're going to need more time than just a few minutes.
For 1 second. It's Roland.
We're not avoiding Andy Kindler, trust me. I finally listened to some of it. What does he do? Like a state of the...
Every year he does something called State of the Industry.
Right.
Where he'll just kind of brutalize the business.
Right.
I think it was last year or 2 years ago he killed Louis.
He killed Louis this time, too, a little bit.
Oh, did he? I didn't. I've never watched a State of the Industry address or heard it. I heard the 5 minute
sent to me, and I
thing.
finally listened to it, and he's horrible. his delivery stinks.
You know, I'll say this for Kim. I don't like what he said about Anthony, but he's...
Is this comedy like that? It's very stammery and like disjointed.
That's kind of how he delivers, and this is all stuff that he's just writing for this one event only.
Right.
And... you know, people who don't like him, I have no problem with fans bashing him for what he said about Ant. That's fine. But they were calling him a hack, and DePaulo stuck up for him on that one. And I got to say, like, you can say the guy you don't like him, but to say he's a hack is honestly
seems like a good writer.
He's a brilliant guy, even though again his take on Anthony I didn't agree with at all. But you can't to say he's a hack is not accurate. Like you attack the guy for what you don't like, but. That's almost like, you know, if you hate Jim Norton, you can't go out and say Jim Norton's a terrible black comedian. Like it's just a lie. So I disagree with this take strongly.
Sam, why are you laughing?
Because Roland has to piss so bad that he's in pain.
Yes. Well, Roland had a lot of time to piss, and he was out there goofing around.
Why didn't you go pee before now?
Because
we have no choice. Like Jimmy, what?
Like I was talking to the publicist, and then
because. We'll do a long set on the radio and we'll have no choice. And then how many times where I'm doing that on purpose? And you have to run out and you know, get rid of some fluid.
Fluid.
He was like bow-legged walking to the studio, going, "Do I have to go? I really have to pee."
So Andy Kindler reached out to you?
Yeah, through Twitter.
Through Twitter, okay.
What did he say? Did he bash us?
No, well, he said he would like to come on the show. That was about it.
And what did you respond?
I'm going to check with the guys because I didn't. That was it.
Oh, really? That?
Yeah.
Do we see it?
Yeah, we would have no problem.
I actually didn't see that.
Andy Kindler?
Yeah, I just DM'd him. I was going to ask the guys.
Yeah.
All right, well.
And that's how I was waiting for.
Tweet him back and say when. Yeah.
Yeah, let's look at his
Twitter address.
What is it? You go to Roland's.
Yeah.
Just go to Rolando's.
Rolando's 99.
Okay.
Rolando's 99.
Yeah. So I just said I'll talk to the guys and get back to you. So.
Right. Yeah, we'd have him on. Oh, there's Andy Kindler's Twitter. All right.
Oh, he tweeted the your hot dog interview
from Just.
Oh yeah,
for
I
Laughs.
actually tweeted that. Why would he retweet that? All right, well, I thought it was kind of funny, but
Yeah. And he's now he has a hashtag FF, not Sam, Rolandos 99, Jim Norton, Opie Radio, E-Rock Radio, Robert Kelly, Jim Brewer, Mr. Jim Florentine.
Oh,
what?
Just plugging website. Oh, you plugged everybody's website. That's cool.
He plugged my YouTube
weird?
channel, Opie Radio. That's great.
Is he Is he being weird about it? I don't understand.
why is he plugging my website or AnthonyCumia.com?
Right.
Is he being like weird? Like, oh, you guys are gonna make fun of me? Like, I'm gonna plug Anthony's website?
No, what do you think, Roland?
Well, I don't know.
Oh,
he's plugging a lot of Anthony stuff.
He retweeted it.
Doesn't seem like he hates him too much if he's plugging all his stuff. Roland, comment.
What? I don't know. Oh, it's a fake one.
Fucking dummy.
Shit on my face. I feel like
It's the only reason we're staying late today. For that reaction.
I feel
For
like
that reaction.
I feel like Wickland.
Oh no! Well, that wasn't fair.
Wickland's in
God.
studio, unfortunately.
I kid.
Wow.
Yeah, I did.
The fake Andy
How did
Kindler
that
got
fucking
you.
get you?
Well, when I woke up, he tweet. I just realized that
He only has like 400 followers or something.
Yeah.
Well, I don't
Almost
even-
500 followers.
I even
I think the
scrolled
real
through his
Andy
tweet.
Kindler,
I
you might
did
not
this-
like him, but he's pretty popular. He has
I did
over
not
100,000
even-
followers, I believe.
I should have scrolled through his tweets. I didn't even do that. Shit on my face. Then one, I was like, man, Opie's not responding. I was like, what's wrong with these guys? Just let the shit settle.
I kind of had an idea.
Yeah, you
And
got
I like the reveal on the air. It's great. All right, go pee.
My bad. Thank you.
Nah, no big deal. It happens to anybody who's never seen Twitter before. Especially, as long as it doesn't happen to somebody else who had a fake account made about him.
Yeah.
Yeah, what did the fake?
now I know how Mike Baker feels. Foolish.
Foolish.
You feel foolish?
Oh, yeah.
The fake Andy Kindler. What did he say to you? They got you.
Nothing. I was like, oh, I'll ask the guy. So he responded.
I did see the tweet last night. It was just at Rolando's. When am I coming by the show?
To be honest with you, I was like, when Roland texted me about that, I thought, like, I can't. That's not. Andy Kindler wouldn't tweet him. I mean, if he was going to come on, he would. But he's not going to tweet.
I know. That's why I didn't get back to you. I'm like, there's no way he would just tweet to you.
You should share the info with me. I was like, oh, not bad.
Why?
Thank
It's
you.
way more fun this way.
Yeah, I didn't even pay attention to the followers until just now.
Yeah. Let me. She's been on hold the entire show. Lady Di.
Yes, hi. How you doing?
Pretty good. You doing better? How's the morning?
Fucking idiots.
The what?
The morning?
M-O-U-R. Not M-O-R.
Yeah, well, I'm still not over the whole thing, the whole entire thing.
Come
yet,
on, you've had 3 hours. What do you mean? What are you, just lollygagging over there in Grieftown?
Why are you taking so long?
No, I'm not. What are you talking about?
What are you, milking it?
By the way,
Milking what?
we rarely talk to her this late in the show. You could hear the beers have taken hold. The Natty Ices. How many Natty Ices you up to?
You know, Opie, I knew you were going to ask me that.
Really? You're like
Yes,
Kreskin.
You
should go on. You should go on Penn and Teller's Fool Us show.
That. You always ask me how many Natty Ices I have.
And that's why you knew that I was going to ask this time?
Yeah?
God,
yeah.
is that fucking brilliant. You are a smart lady.
Yeah, I know you.
Oh,
Neither of those
man.
things.
Believe me.
Wow. You're extremely smart.
Yes.
But be well, and it was good talking to you.
How many Natty Ices?
No. Right now it's going to be 7. How's
But
that sound?
it's okay, because...
Matter of fact, I'm cracking an 8th one open right now.
All right. Well,
As we speak.
That's cool. You're grieving.
you know.
No, it ain't.
The big reveal,
It's alcohol.
because we got something
Yeah, we
that
understand.
we're going to end the show with, so I guess you get the big reveal now. If you don't want the big reveal, turn off the radio quickly and then listen to the replay.
Big reveal.
Nothing. If
What do you
anyone
mean,
listens-
what's the big reveal? I'm just saying to the people that want to hear it naturally and they haven't heard the beginning of the show, turn off the show right now. We're going to start the replay very, very soon.
Right.
But
I know you will.
she knew
that already.
How did you know we were going to do that?
Well, because I get it on my phone.
Oh,
All right, but we're glad you called again. We'll talk to you later. Be well.
Yeah.
Please.
Take care.
We put something together for Bill.
Yeah.
What'd you put together for Bill?
A little thing. Final words. What do you want to say about Bill, who's no longer with us? Your roommate, of course. And if you don't know, if you're still listening and you don't even know any of that, just listen to the replay. But any final words for Bill?
Final thoughts.
Yeah, I loved him as a friend, and I really loved him as a friend.
Okay.
What else can I say about it? What else can I say?
That's all, really.
I mean, I've known the guy 9 years, and I really liked him.
Well, you really downgraded him fucking from love to like really quickly.
No one wants to.
Whatever. You know what I mean.
I know.
How about love? And he'll be missed.
Of course he's going to be missed.
Right. Yeah, by the liquor store.
No. By me.
By the
Not
beer
by the
distributor.
liquor store. Don't associate him like that. Just associate him as.
Well, what's frustrating? And the same crap's going to happen to you. All these things are.
I don't care what's going to happen to me.
Oh God.
I don't care what happens to me.
Oh.
Whatever happens to me, it's my fault.
Good for you.
Oh, Jesus. Opie, please.
You should care what's going to happen to you. Bill should have cared. Bill saw all the signs and he continued drinking.
Well,
people in the know are saying this could have been avoided. That's so frustrating to me.
Well, you know what the whole thing is? I mean, he did not think he was going to go like this, and I'm probably not going to think I'm going to go like that, too.
That's true. Well, we're glad you called again. I wish you well.
Okay, all right. I got that. Thank you, Lady Di.
Be good, sweetheart.
Hey, who said bye, you pig?
We said be good, sweetheart.
Wow.
But you're actually right. That is what I should have said. Okay.
What are you, Otto?
Listen to me.
Or
I
George.
don't know what. I could walk out this door right now and get hit by a car.
Yeah, we'll open that barn door and walk right out. There's no reason not to.
Right.
No. Oh my goodness me.
Could you leave your house during rush hour just to, up the odds?
Yeah, I usually do.
All right.
All right, be careful.
All right, fine, Lady Di.
All right, see you later. Be careful. God bless.
Check in tomorrow because we do care about you. All right, we want to see where the morning process is.
Everything
by
except
tomorrow.
for the check-in tomorrow.
All right,
I sure will.
All right, Lady Di.
Talk to you some other time, but not tomorrow.
All right, okay. You got a plug there, Jimmy, before we play this little thing?
Yeah, Syracuse just put on sale. I'll be there September 4th through 6th at the Funny Bone, and then San Francisco Cobb's August 7 through 9, and the Addison Improv August 21 through 23. And my second episode of my Vice show comes out Wednesday, where I interview Freeway Rick Ross. And the first episode did very well. Really, really well.
We didn't get to talk about it. We can tomorrow. I finally got to see it
cool.
over the weekend when we finally had some downtime. Really good, man.
Thank you.
Really, really good. Came out great.
Thanks, man.
The skit with you in bed. Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
Really funny.
Thank you.
Really funny. This is what we're gonna do. We got something for Bill. Lady Di's roommate that died, and then we're gonna play the Bill Burr thing as well, and then go into the replay because we were talking about hitting women today. Is it okay? Is there ever a time when it's okay to hit women? And Bill Burr has a very funny bit about it. So we'll do that as well before the replay. Okay? But first for Bill.
My roommate passed away.
Bill? Bill died, huh?
Yes. Believe me, he loved me more than he did hate me.
Shut up, Diana. It's called alcoholism. Well, actually, hey, well, you guys are funny, but you're nothing but a bunch of I don't give a shit. What the hell are you? I'm a good judge of characters. Huh? Well, I don't drink.
Yeah.
Take your fucking kid.
All right.
I never worked a hard day my whole life. No, I eat pussy. Yeah, I'm not a drinker. I'm not an alcoholic.
When was the last time Lady Di smoked crack?
9 years. You a bunch of jerks on the air. You have to make money.
Right.
But down the earth, I bet you a bunch of good guys.
One time she was watching this show. It was like a poor excuse for The View. And they started talking about domestic violence, right? For the 9 millionth time this year, they're talking about domestic violence. Just in case, you didn't get the memo. Evidently, just some people didn't get it. It's not okay to slam your wife's head into the cupboard drawers because she didn't dry the can opener off properly, It's gonna fucking rust, right? How do you not know not to do that shit? Do they really have to keep talking about it? It's like wife beaters watching. Oh, fuck! Now I get it. Upset daisy, sweetheart. Here we go. There you go. Oh. So at the end of the hour, they come to the logical conclusion. They're like, there is no reason to hit a woman. There is no reason to hit a woman. And I was just like, really? I could give you like 17 right off the top of my head. You could wake me from a drunken stupor, I could still give you like 9. Dude, there's plenty of reasons to hit a woman. You just don't do it. But to sit there and suggest that there's no reason. Dude, the level of ego behind that statement. What are you, levitating above the rest of us? You're never annoying? Women, how many times have you thought about slapping your fucking guy in the head this week? Every day. There you go. Every day. You didn't do it, right? Oh, dude, it drives me nuts. There's no reason. There's no reason. Really? No reason? How about this? You marry a girl, you fall in love, you buy her a house. You go to work every day paying off the house. You come home one day, she's banging the next door neighbor, hands you divorce papers. You got to move out, sleep on a futon, and still pay for that house that she's going to stay in. No reason. I'm not saying you should do it, but there's plenty of fucking reasons in that arc of a story. No, that's the thing. Really is. That's the thing. I hate that saying there's no reason. Obviously, I'm not saying to hit a woman, But saying there's no reason, I think that's crazy. When you say there's no reason, that kills any sort of examination as to how two people ended up at that place. If you say there's no reason, you cut out the build-up, you're just left with the act. How are you going to solve it if you don't figure it out? Look how awkward it is in here right now. I said you shouldn't hit a woman. I'm just saying, how come you can't ask questions? You can only ask questions about what the guy did. You can never ask about the woman. Why is that? Why is that? What is that? What does answer him right mean? What does that mean? Are you the idiot who got up halfway through the special during the bit and you're like walking around like I'm not fucking taping a special here? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Fucking had to ignore all of that and now you're gonna like yell out? And not only that, yell something that makes no fucking sense whatsoever. Answer him! Answer him! Every fucking special I do, there's always one. Always right down the fucking middle. Talking about hitting women, sweetheart. And I think you just added another reason. Jesus fucking Christ. Love this. I'm not even in a relationship with her, and she's fucking nagging me. Fucking unbelievable. Look, I understand hitting a woman's a bad thing, okay? Well, how come you can't fucking ask questions? I just don't understand. Like, if I get bit by a rattlesnake, wouldn't you guys have some questions? Right? How did it happen? Did you not see it? Were you fucking with it? How did this snake get so mad it almost killed you? Firemen put out a fire. They don't just drive away afterwards. They sift through the debris. How did it start? Here's an oily rag, right? Look, I realize I'm coming off pretty ignorant right about now. I realize that. Let me extend an olive branch then, okay? I realize that there's some animal guys out there, okay? Horrible guys, you know, have a rough day at the factory, come home, tuna casserole, and just start swinging, all right? I'm not trying to say that those people don't exist. I realize they exist. They should be buried underneath the prison, okay? So if I can admit that, ladies, can you at least admit that every ass kicking doesn't just fall out of the fucking sky? Really? Even hockey has 2 minutes for instigating, right? They understand that some back and forth happened before that shit, you know? You know what it is every case is handled like that Rihanna one, where they just say, the guy's a piece of shit, fuck this guy, blah, 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 send him to jail, and then they never ask anything about that. You know, I'm not saying he should have done it, but I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Dude, in your heart of hearts, what do you think was going down before that happened? You think she was just sitting there going, oh my God, Baskin Robbins, you want to get some ice cream? You know? Or do you think maybe they were having some epic end of the relationship fight and some crazy shit was being said? Maybe she was screaming in his ear some crazy female shit like, oh, fuck all your friends, I don't give a fuck! Maybe that's why I sell more albums than you, motherfucker! Right? To be fair, she could have just been sitting there going, I need a tissue. Do you keep those in the glove box? Oh my God, I'll bring my out! I'll bring my out! Now fuck that, because you know what it is? They never address how women argue, which I think is a core of a lot of that shit. You know? And I gotta tell you something, man. Like, I never knew how women argued. But after 20 years of losing every significant battle in a relationship, I finally figured out how they argued. I'm gonna tell you something. I'm starting to turn this franchise around. I have begun a winning tradition. This is how they argue, as far as I can tell. All right? If they're right, they argue the point. And they stay on point and make sure you stay on point until you're down on your knees, apologizing, begging for forgiveness. All right? No problem with that. Totally respect it. But here's the thing. If they're wrong, they go rogue. They go off-road. They start thinking of shit you're sensitive about. Maybe you don't get along with your dad. And in their head, they just start concocting this evil statement. Totally designed. This desperate Hail Mary attempt